you in? Are you calling in from LA right now?
Yeah, I'm from Woodland Hills.
Right on.
So I'm still
Why
online, right, guys?
Yeah,
Yes.
you're still online.
Great.
I was just waiting for your video, and then we can start with the AMA.
Should be like share screen or share video or something like that, Chuck. There you go.
There you go. Nice. All right, let's start the recording, and then good afternoon, Whale Coin Talk community. I am here today with Chuck Russell, chairman, director, writer, producer. He created some of your favorite films from back in the day. To name a few, we got The Mask, The Scorpion King, The Eraser. And we're also joined by Cade Wu. He's a founder, producer, writer, martial artist, action actor, champion boxer. So we got some really exciting guests here today, and they're here to talk about their project, A Nation. So gentlemen, before we get started, tell us a bit about yourselves, how you got to be in the film industry, first and foremost, and then also how you got involved with crypto.
Kate, shall I start?
Yes, please.
Okay, buddy. I drove out to LA right after I finished University of Illinois and worked my way up in the film business. I didn't get to do film school. I'm not really from a film family, but I have an incredible passion for film. And I've always been all about the audience. I've always been about everything from independent film to the studio films I got to make. And when Cade came to me with the idea for A Nation, it's the perfect time in Hollywood. We are a tokenized film production company. And right now, like everything else, the film is going through all kinds of changes in the financing. They need a new source, and we're going to be it. Cade?
How I got into filming was because I started off, background was in, security and whatnot. Came to California, got into doing security, and then ended up doing stunt work, and then slowly moving up. And then next thing you know, Chuck was looking for a big dude that play a role that was tough. So I pretty much raised my hand, and he picked me. And then
I chased you.
Kinda...
I chased him down. He didn't raise his hand. I was like, "Where's Cade? Who is this guy, Cade Wu? How do I get him in my movie?" So we just finished shooting a $20 million film together in Maui that I'm very excited about. That'll be released later this summer. I consider that our first project together.
Yeah.
Right on. That's awesome. Yeah, go for it. Go for it, Cade.
So then that's how it was pretty much he needed me to come in for ADR, which is voice over, like recording my voice over, ensure that sounds correct and stuff like that. And sometimes recording ends up like muffled or whatnot, so he wanted to make sure that it sounded clear. So I came in and we just started talking, and it ended up being hours, and we kind of just came up with the idea of what it can truly do. And from there on, it just continued and grew to the point that it has now.
Awesome. And gentlemen, I'm really excited to have you both here again. I already mentioned that, but Chuck, I will say The Mask was probably my favorite film growing up. I watched it over and over and over again. I could probably recite lines to you verbatim, but we're not here to do that. We're here to talk about A Nation, the crypto project you guys are building. So without further ado, give us a high-level overview of the ecosystem you guys have planned, and then we can start to get into the nuts and bolts of things and break everything down individually.
Okay. You'll be
Kate, I'll let you take a start.
Okay, so the simple fact is, it's on the BSC chain. It uses a tokenized system, buy 8%, sell 15%. Where we're using the funds to be able to allow us to fund the films will actually be coming from the tax. The development wallet will get, it's 20% of the entire cap. So we're going to use the tax, the reward, just like a holder, and receive the tax, and we'll use that towards the film. We do not want to touch the tokens. The tokens we and here's the key thing. People will ask me, and they're like, okay, how about you can't fund a film, like a full film? Like, well, we're not going into fund a full film anyway. We specifically want to start with doing collaborations with bigger companies, for example, Lion Gates, M&GM, Savant, like you name it. And that's through Chuck, and he has all the connections. Then they're essentially hungry for equity. So we don't have an issue or problem with collabing with other companies to allow us to kind of take the pressure off and ensure that we have a balanced ability to level up each time. And we continue.
Kate has just
Yep.
Sorry, Kate. Kate has just mentioned
No,
three
it's okay.
places I'm already in business with, and I'm committed, and it's why I'm doing this today, to giving my full time to developing films for A Nation, and taking us into co-productions immediately. And I just got some good news today, Kate, about one of them. I'll talk to you about later. And no hype.
Okay.
This is what I do. And
Well, you just hyped it, and now everyone's like, "What is that?"
Yep.
What's that news?
That was my next question.
Excuse me?
No, I was
But,
saying that was my next question. I was going to be like, what is that? Give us a sneak peek.
This is
essentially,
NDA. The new stuff is
Yeah.
NDA. We just finished a film called Paradise City. There's been no advertising yet. I'm literally finishing the tech delivery this week. So it stars John Travolta and Bruce Willis, Stephen Dorff, and Cade, as you see here, at a great young cast. We shot it all on Maui. It's action adventure in the style of my films, and it's really something special. That's what we just finished. It's not specifically an A Nation project, but it's our first collaboration, and it'll be A Nation all from here on out, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep. So continuing with the tokenomics and the setup, the general synopsis I can give you guys without you guys having to go to the white paper would be, or you guys should go to the white paper after this. There is a YouTube video that an influencer just made, and it's wonderful. But you can go to our Telegram later and ask for the specific link or whatnot. But the point of this is that we're going to start with a couple films, and it's going to be our films that we pick from with his creative mind, his proof. And the difference between us and everyone else, or all the other crypto, is what? You're basing this crypto on proof of work, not Bitcoin, but proof of work. The man's work over 25 years that he has proven grossed over $1 billion worldwide without considering money from back then, not the inflated version. So he has been proved everything that he's done, he's touched, has profited and worked. One of the top, if not the top, independent producer, director, writer there is. That's who A Nation is pretty much attached to. And from there, we build out, we create, and then we have systems where we will be bringing other creative minds that haven't had the opportunity to be able to get into film, and we're going to allow them the ability to get in. They become a part of our ecosystem. So we're a production company that is going to use crypto to partially fund films, and that's going to allow us to have leg to be able to bring in more projects. And so we're not going to try to do 100% of film. We might do it just to say we did one, but our purpose is to ensure growth, and diversity is key, right? And our biggest thing, number one, hands down, is creativity. Creativity should rule it all, and creativity is matched with what? Love. And when you love something that you do, everything else will come with it. So that's
may I say something on that, Kate?
Oh yeah.
The Mask is my favorite film that I've done as well. I love them all, but the truth is, I would never have gotten The Mask done today in Hollywood if The Mask had never existed. Hollywood's become very corporatized. I've got a lot of friends in the different studios and in distribution. They're all super talented, but people, as Hollywood becomes more corporatized, they take less and less chances on new actors, on new ideas, on new kinds of films. So at that time, New Line Cinema had already made quite a big success for them out of The Nightmare on Elm Street 3, which is my first directing gig that made more than the first two put together. I had the chance to do The Mask. Nowadays, I would have to, if I was going to do The Mask, it'd have to be all established stars instead of such a wonderful, fresh new cast. That when Cade spoke up about what about funding films through crypto, I was so excited because it's what everyone's looking for, especially in independent film. Sorry,
so let me mess with the host. Let me mess with the host a little bit. I'm going to drive the host a little crazy right now since The Mask is his favorite movie.
I'm about it.
It was supposed to be a full-blown horror story.
Get your mind wrapped
around that. Get your mind wrapped around that.
Well, we all know Jim Carrey has that range. I feel like he could have pulled it off, but I'm glad it turned out to be a comedy.
The fact that the Elm Street 3 series was reinvigorated by the one I directed and co-wrote, they wanted to bring out another new horror film franchise, which was based on this cool comic book called The Mask. But I felt it was very similar to Freddy Krueger it wasn't Jim Carrey at the time. It was let's get someone to be a great new horror character like Freddy Krueger. And I just felt we'd already done it, and no more one-liner jokes after killing people. And I had seen Jim Carrey's stand-up routine. I had no idea who he was. He was very new at the time. He was in living color, but I literally never seen anything like it. And inspired by Jim, we completely rewrote the movie. We kept the same comic book and the same central idea. New Line wasn't that excited. They're like, what are you talking about? This guy, Jim Carrey, and a girl and a dog in a nightclub. But to their credit, they took a chance on us at the time. So Jim inspired it really to make a full comedy with some of the music and dance that I love. That's a real story. They were quite serious about the horror film, and I was quite serious about something brand new, almost a new genre, starring Jim.
So to sum it up, we are a tokenized film production company based on Chuck Russell's body of work.
Beautiful.
And to elaborate that will be how we start this year and part of the coming year. But we're going to onboard other directors and producers as the company grows, which I believe will grow very quickly, and Hollywood becomes more and more used to crypto.
Certainly. And Cade, you made a really important point about loving what you do. As someone that has not loved what I do for quite some time and then loved what I do for quite some time, I can say there's a very certain distinction between the two, and the latter feels like play. As cliche as it sounds, I don't even realize I'm working and the day's over. Work is technically over, and I'm still working because I'm so passionate and interested in what I'm doing. It just makes the time go by. With that said, I'm curious to know how you guys are planning to bridge these two worlds together. But before we get to that, what are some of the challenges the film industry currently faces, especially when it comes to up and coming artists? Yeah, as an up and coming artist and established artist yourself. Yeah, tell me, please.
As I said, but right now there are actually fewer feature films made. Now that's nice because it's kind of a golden era of streaming television. So that's great. And more stars are doing that. But there's a new return to movie theaters. Spider-Man proved it. Hollywood's all still talking about that. The hits that are now possible. But equity money is one of the hardcore issues, always has been in Hollywood. It's something that's not talked about much. But, there's been different co-productions overseas. There were a number of films that my friends in China helped put together. And now that's changing. Again, about every 10 years, Hollywood has new sources of equity. I believe that new source will be crypto. And as we all know, crypto is very fluid with fiat money. So we intend on our productions to wean our Hollywood partners off of fiat, more into crypto. And every person I've mentioned this to in Hollywood says, "Oh yes, we were thinking of that. We had that idea as well." It's a typical Hollywood comeback. I know for a fact that everyone's ready for this.
Certainly. And do you anticipate there being any pushback, any resistance, especially when you're talking about people that control quite a bit of the money and quite a bit of the determining factor when it comes to who gets funded and what films get made?
We can do co-productions that supplement those folks. So we are by no means in conflict with what you would consider traditional Hollywood. We're here to support them. As I said, I'm here to onboard other producers and directors. By the way, many stars have their own favorite projects that they weren't able to get made at the studios because they don't fit a studio standard for the culture of that particular studio. We're going to be in a position to be able to greenlight the proper good movies, if we feel they are, that get stuck in the Hollywood system. The bureaucracy is tough. So I don't expect pushback. We're coming in with equity money. That doesn't really get pushback. That usually gets a lunch meeting right away.
Liquid cash, baby. You can't argue it.
Exactly. We're not forcing crypto. Remember, we're dealing with co-productions. We're soon going to see, this is an easy prediction, I think it's already happened. There's many, Ireland as an example has new studios. I think one of the Marvel films shot there. These places will very soon accept crypto if they haven't already. And again, we're just going to be fluid between crypto and fiat until crypto goes a little further, which I think it's doing globally anyway.
Yep. Understood. And gentlemen, what does blockchain technology's transparent nature and removal of middlemen that participate in the flow of money mean for filmmakers and creators?
No, you take this, Chuck.
Oh, sure.
You're passionate about this.
What it means is, and Kate and I joke about this, the bureaucracies, and I'm not here just to diss Hollywood. I love Hollywood. I'm working right now with one of the heads of one of the studios, and we're really something we love on a particular project. So that's not what it's about. Hollywood moves very slowly. These studios by nature have a bureaucracy of checks and balances, and they tend to greenlight movies you've already seen before. It's very hard to be creative. Crypto's so quick. The development time can really be sped up, 5x, 10x. That's one of the things I'm thrilled about. We are lean and mean. We don't own studios. We don't have to. We don't own facilities. We don't own stages. We're not dragged down by a bureaucracy. You're looking at the whole team right now. And anybody I onboard is not going to become like a studio executive. They're going to bring me projects that they'll be responsible for. So we're going to be lean and mean. We have a term in independent film. We put the money on the screen. What I do costs about half what you might do in a studio picture with all the overhead and all the people they're supporting. People think The Mask, even back in the 90s, they thought The Mask was a $100 million budget. The Mask cost $18 million. I'm very proud of that. I shot the film for $11 million and I had a $7 million CGI package. The film we just shot for 20 will compete with other Hollywood action thrillers at a much higher budget level. So crypto means independent, lean and mean, decentralized, all the money on the screen, a chance to have new talent. I'm not stuck with the old stars. I love them. But in my career, I've created stars more often. Dwayne Johnson, I gave him his first leading role in Scorpion King with Universal support. Jim Carrey was really not known when I hired him. Ace Ventura came out after we were in production, and we made him an international star. Cameron Diaz had never acted before. The audience wanted, and by the way, look at the film Coda that just won Best Picture. No established stars, totally independent film, cost a fraction of Hollywood film. So we think we're going to blow up independent film, and we're going to do co-productions with studios. That's our goal.
Got it. So Chuck, Kate, I want to go through just a quick example for our audience. Let's say I'm an independent filmmaker. I have a $100,000 budget. I made my film. I'm stuck halfway through. I don't know how to get funding. I don't know what to do. I hear about you guys. I listen to this podcast, AMA Recording, from A to Z. How does it go? Who do I approach? How do I get funding? How do I get my project acknowledged? Let us know about the process, please.
So let me take them through this. This is, if you say like now, no, we're not there yet. The point is that we will be there where we can onboard people, but let's just go to that future, huh? So we'll get to that future, and Chuck is in producing his films, and we're moving already. And then they come to us and they need it, and we have an incubator that can actually help people with that. But we have other things too. That there's also a competition. So Polka Dot Parachain, right?
Yes.
So how they do the auction where it allows people to be able to, like, say, for example, 20 projects come to us and they want their films to be funded. So how do they get the films funded? A Nation token holders can invest their tokens into those films. You vest their ANTN token for that period of time that they make the film, about a year. If it's locked in, we give you NFT in return. That project gives you NFT, which is equivalent to, say, 25% of the value of that project. Then the film goes to production. It goes to development, production, distribution. It profits X amount of money. 25% of that goes back to those NFT holders. What happens then at that point, the value those NFTs get will actually get 25% of the film, but it will actually also get the residuals from the film through the NFT, because there's a contract that says that they own that fractional part of that 25%. Now, then at this point, they will get their vested tokens back. So their vested token should now occur because our value has continued to grow with their ecosystem growing. So they actually will now get ANTN token back at a higher value. The NFT now has value from the profits from the film. So that's an example of a Polkadot parachain auction. Another system we have is actually Treasury DAO that, for example, Chuck and I are making a film, and the film is costing whatever it is, a certain amount, and we don't want to take on the full amount. So instead of having a partner, who do we bring on? We bring on our DAO. So our DAO is our people, and we say, okay, we're going to give you 25% of the profits, from the investment from the DAO, and it'll be split amongst you guys. And the thing is that you better make sure you hold your tokens the whole entire time, because if they're part of that DAO and you're holding our tokens from the beginning of that DAO, us using that money, if you disappear and sell the tokens, well, guess what? You don't get to claim those value from that DAO. But that DAO actually becomes a partner with us. Another thing that we also have is that if we make the film, for example, we fund it through a nation's tax reward through our development wallet, we will return 5% of net profits from the film's net profit back to the holders in BUSD, duplicating that net profit, or equivalent to that net profit. I'm sorry, that's the word I was looking for, equivalent. So that is like the base, that's the minimum, and then the other ones rise. So we actually get deeper into the other ones. So yeah, anyone can come to us. Chuck, all you.
The short answer is yes. In 6 months or a year, will be in a position to review new filmmakers. It's a big thing with me is new talent, new actors, new filmmakers. Specifically the example you gave me is quite fun. We'd get to screen what that independent filmmaker made for their $100,000. We'd have to like it. We'd have to see it fit a genre we feel we could make money in. Kate, were you saying something?
We're losing you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that in and out thing that happens.
Should I go to off video?
You sound okay now, but you really started doing that problem we had.
I caught you though.
No, there's this specific thing that Chuck's speaker does, and if it starts, it goes. I'm used to it, so that's why I'm catching it now.
Just go like this. I know what that means. It means cutting. All right, just and I'll know my sounds. But
we'll let you know if we lose you, Chuck.
Thank you. That specific example, we'd screen the film. We'd do our own budget for how we would upscale it to a production that is theatrical level production, or at least something we can sell to Netflix. And we'd make a decision just at the moment, just between Kate and I, about the value of that. But as we expand, we're going to have the incubator Kate talks about, and we'll be encouraging new filmmakers for sure.
Yeah, and Kate, I love the idea with going with the parachain model. I've participated in a couple parachain auctions myself, and my favorite thing about it is I eventually get my DOT back. That is the coolest aspect of it. And not only are you guys giving your contributors their ANTN tokens back at the end of it, but you're also giving them an exclusive NFT, which I do want to talk more about your NFTs later. You're giving them an exclusive NFT, which also earns a portion of the revenue the film generates. So that's very cool. You touched on the power of decentralized voting. I was going to ask what that means from the film industry. Chuck, you mentioned that once you and Kate and the team approve of a film or approve of an independent filmmaker, then you bring them on board. How much say does the community have in bringing that individual on board?
I'm glad you mentioned the community. I was about to change to that subject. the community is of vital importance to us, and this isn't just hype. Right now, I've got friends that they're making their living getting data for the studios from audiences. We want a vital, living community, not just giving us data, but giving us feedback. So we're going to find proper voting systems. We're going to find proper ways to do what we're doing today, which is, ask me anything and talking to our community any way we can to help guide our films. We may have 3 different concepts we're going to develop ourselves, and we'll be asking the community about that. The community may bounce back to us with the kinds of films they'd like to make. And we will add value to the community every time I announce a film. I'm in a hurry to get our first film into production, and a little quicker than Hollywood time, more like crypto time, because just announcing that film or announcing the cast will make the tokens value go up by nature. Then Cade's developed this system for token holders to increase their value in these other streams as well. So we want to keep people on board. We are not here to make a splash. We're here to make movies. And that can grow like wildfire in Hollywood, the ability to use crypto in film.
I love it. And these are 2 of my favorite industries colliding. So I think it's very exciting, and I'm really happy to be interviewing you guys today. Cade, going back to the token, will you be offering incentives for your long-term diamond hand holders? What kind of long-term rewards would those people receive?
Well, that's the amazing thing about even we're doing even the 5% net profit. Our base is like, if you hold the tokens and say there's 2 people, subject A, subject B. Subject A, subject B both hold 1 million ANTN token, but subject A has held it for 8 months and subject B only held for 1 month. You're going to get the fractional or the equivalent based on how long you've held it, with the return of that 5% equivalent of profit. So the longer you hold it, the more you get back. We reward hodlers, not holders, hodlers. And what's hodlers? HODL, right? Hold on for dear life.
Yes, sir. And I wanted to know a bit more about these limited NFTs. I understand you guys are also building an NFT marketplace. So let's dive into that. Tell us what makes the NFT special. Tell us what makes the marketplace special, all that good stuff.
Chuck loves the idea of having specials, right, Chuck? So you lead this one.
Well, I will tell you that traditionally when we cast our film, when we sign contracts, specifically with our cast members, we agree to use their image in certain ways. So this is the first time we will start off a film as we cast, agreeing on NFTs that are going to benefit the community, benefit the film, and make its own cash stream. We hope that we're presenting very, very creative NFTs. Cade will help me craft that. That's really his specialty. But I'm all about concept. I'm all about promoting my actors. I'm all about satisfying the audience with solid entertainment globally. So that's my take on the NFTs. Cade?
So we want to, this is the point of where we're really good at pivoting. There's a company, a project that's coming out, and they're about to have their full fleshed out marketplace come out probably end of this month. And we might just work with them right away just to get the NFTs out if need be. But essentially what we want to create with the NFT are special pieces where it's kind of like once we have a couple or a couple dozen or whatever, and it's once that's it. So for example, behind the scenes, where they have like certain things were happening behind the scene and it's linked to the NFT, and you only can go log in with the NFT to be able to watch that piece. By the way, there's different tiers to our website is going to be built, where if you say, for example, you have a million tokens, you can go into a website and be a certain level tier and watch certain things with the VIP section of our website. So like, the higher course is the more special stuff, we will also have NFTs linked to, say, example, a day on set, red carpet treatment. Like you can come to the premiere with the red carpet. We'll have like a full blown auction. We will have a lot of things with characters, with actors, specific things, but it's pretty much a collage of things that we can be able to utilize on the film. Even at the end of our production, we can have pieces of the film production,
Well,
linked to an NFT.
what we'll have instead of what you might find in the added scenes or cut scenes, those will be our first NFT before the film's even out. So we'll give our holders access to things like that and the value of those.
And you can't buy them NFTs unless you got some ANTN tokens.
That's correct. We're all
So-
about growing this community. Everything we're doing feeds the community. It's going to be a symbiotic relationship from the beginning. And when we get up to speed, we'll start with about 3 films a year at different budget levels and different genres where I'm very secure that a script matches the genre, matches a global audience.
Certainly. And what I love about these types of NFTs is not only do they provide on-chain utility, but they also provide real-world utility, like you just described, Cade. You said all these exclusive events and sneak peeks, and this is going to be the future of NFTs. And I think you guys being on the forefront of that with your ecosystem is going to be a huge catalyst in your growth. We've covered your tokens utility with respect to the overall ecosystem. We've talked about the rewards, BUSD rewards that investors are going to be earning by holding. We've talked about box office rewards. I wanted to jump into your Launchpad. Tell me about the Launchpad and what sort of projects will you be attracting?
This is where we are a media company, not just a film company. We will start off, producing film and showing the quality of work that, the body of work that Chuck has, and now allowing that creativity to be fully fleshed out with no one to stop it. So that's the point, to be able to allow any creator or creative mind to be able to just go. You should let them fly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other point with what we're doing with totally lost track of my mind. I was just thinking creativity and I just blanked out. What were you asking?
Repeat the question. The moderator will repeat the question.
You got it, of course. Yeah. So my question was, and you basically answered it, Cade. What type of projects and creative projects will you be attempting to attract with your Launchpad? Yeah, and you got the question down. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty much a Launchpad is meant for anyone coming in, and any media, doesn't matter where they come from. And the really cool part is there's a lot of things with media that people don't think about. Like Chuck will tell you, soundtrack, behind the scene, like music. Watch a movie without the music and see what you feel about it.
We're stuck if we don't have that.
Why don't those people get respect? Why don't they get to monetize their creativity? So we're going to give the underserved the ability to be able to use our platform to advance further.
Absolutely. And gentlemen, how far out is the launch of your A Media streaming platform? And tell us what your vision for that is.
Oh, that is the granddaddy. That is the case study of case study. We launch on the blockchain if it's a point of creating our own blockchain, which would be a chain. Meaning, if we're at that point, then we're having a full ecosystem in a governancing system like a government itself. So we would then at that point be, paying our employees. And remember, on a production set, you can have hundreds of thousands of people working for you, and then that lasts years, because if Chuck continued to create films, it's just going to go back to back, right? So the point is that now we can use transparency, privacy, piracy protection with using our the blockchain. And the key thing is it's going to be a hybrid system. I really thought about it. It's going to be a hybrid system, just because until the technology can keep up with the bandwidth that we need to be able to onboard the full entire
that question's all about bandwidth and technologies. Mm-hmm. So our plan is set up a great media company this year. With luck, we'd be starting a production in the fourth quarter. Probably it's going to be the beginning of next year. We'd love to get 3 films done, probably 1 which I'll direct, and the other 3 which will be onboarding other directors that Cade and I will produce. And then as we go forward, yes, streaming and everything else. We want to be realistic. We love hype in Hollywood, and actually we love hype in crypto too, but we deliver on our hype. We deliver on our hype. It's not just hype.
So,
it's excitement.
Chuck, I came up with a term, factual hype.
There you go.
So not this like fake wannabe hype that gives the 1, 2, 3, 4 green candle and go boom. No, if you look at our chart.
Oh, I'm looking at it.
I dare you to find a chart that looked that beautiful.
You know,
Anti-bought it.
For us, honestly, neither Kate and I consider ourselves natural public speakers, but we're so passionate about this project. When we talk privately, it's the truth. It's easy. It's easy to pitch the truth. Hollywood changes more than people know. Back all the way back to VHS, then going to DVDs and going digital, now streaming. It's going to keep changing, and the momentum of the change is increasing all the time. That matches crypto. I really believe ultimately Hollywood is high school, and everyone's starting to hear we're doing this and they want to know more about it. So it will be a lot quicker adaptation to crypto than people think.
And Kate, I'm glad you mentioned the chart. I posted it in our main chat a few minutes ago. It looks like you launched on the 3rd of April, and you guys have been all the way up since then. So tell us a bit about how the launch went. I'm also curious about the private sale and public sale, but first tell us about the launch.
That's all Kate. He's our secret weapon, man.
So with the launch, I've heard horror stories lately of charts just getting wrecked by bots. So if people don't know what bots are, they send, and I really truly believe there are people that don't know what bots do, and they think they see a chart and they're like, oh, it went up 3,000%, you know, like, why can't I have that? And 99% of them, 99.99% of them, it happens to. So it's like, you couldn't catch that high if you wanted to. That's why it's a bot, guys. So the point is that they go in, and as you're forming your liquidity, they hijack your liquidity. It's like, just imagine the Matrix. You know those things when they're coming up, they're like going around the future and they're laying in their pods and they just fly across and like grabbing people. It's like that. They literally hijack people's liquidity, sit in there and wait. And then they wait, and then they spike it, and then people FOMO in and they sell at the top, and they make people who FOMO'd in stuck. And then they end up losing badly. I didn't want that. I feel like that's, to me, is kind of like somebody dirtying me, and I really have a problem with that. Like, it's just, you know, it just bothers me. So I literally went and bought a bot, and then I pretty much talked to the creator of the bots, figure out, like, I gave him questions that if I want to use that bot and mess with people, how do I do it? So I give him questions and I try to, you know, get the most out of them. Then I spend a couple good amount of money to buy one, and then I looked at the coding, and then I kind of figured out what they were doing. So then I set up a protocol, a 24-hour protocol, to allow them to not to be able to hijack into our charts. I mean, look at our chart. Look, it worked pretty well, you know. And the coolest thing is every single chart.
To say that he's being humble. He's being humble. All the devs on our Telegram are like, "Who is Cade Vu?" As they found out how he designed all this.
Well, they were like, well, I see the white paper and I see the founders. They're two guys from the film industry. Who's the dev? Who's the dev? And then I was lucky enough that a lot of people saw what I was doing. And I have to thank, I don't know, can I thank a group, another project that really helped us out? Is that
Certainly.
okay? Or, I mean,
absolutely. Yeah.
So Affinity BSC, I was on my computer at 1 a.m. and Chris, the CEO, and his product is amazing. He like came out 1 a.m. Eastern time for him. I'm in California, so it's 3 hours ahead, up behind. And he came out and he's like, Kate, you should check on this, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, yeah. And I screenshot it to him. He's like, good. You know that, you know, they could flow the liquidity. I'm like, yeah. And then, I'm sorry, it's like backfiring or whatever it is in my ear. So then what happened was he pretty much assisted me, and he's like, hey, Kate, if you wanted to use Adapt, I'm put you in as a nation. And so I was like, okay, cool. And then I went to bed finally, and I kind of slept for like a couple hours. I woke up and I was just sitting there and I was like, okay, you know, I got to cancel this pink cell because it's just like, it just didn't feel right. I was just like, pivot time. So pivoted. So I went manual. So deciding to go manual is not fun. You know why? The fear of losing or sending it to the wrong address, not fun, especially you know where it's going to go. And so you think about it and you're like, oh, back money could go bye-bye. And you're sending it to how many people? And then so I sat there and I was like, all right, guys, if you want to send it to Adapt, send it to Adapt, you know, just send it to Adapt and it will offset the fee a little bit. And then suddenly everyone joined in and wanted to send through Adapt, and the whole entire Adapt side Affinity went crazy, and everyone just went in, and then everyone, created a design saying Affinity adapt with A Nation. Do I sound weird, guys? Or
Yeah, there's a bit of feedback, I think, on it might be on Chuck's end.
How can I cure that?
Maybe turn down your volume a tad bit. Or you can mute your Telegram mic, but either
Oh
or.
yeah, well he's talking. Let me mute, of course. Go ahead, Kate.
so then we utilized Adapt, and pretty much Adapt is awesome because it's a way that people just tap and they don't have to worry about the contract address pasting, like worrying about sending it to somebody, because it uses their nickname and it uses a photo that locks it in. So if you see those two things together, you know that's them. So they put the information in, boom, they send it to me right away, and then I was able to airdrop them their tokens. So it's pretty insane that I'm thankful and blessed that I got enough trust that people were like willing to like send me their BNB and for me just to airdrop them their tokens. So that was a process that went through, and then people kept coming in. It was like nonstop, and then we finally cut it off, and then we went through the full 24-hour period of lockdown. And then when we locked down, every couple hours I adjusted the settings and I notified everyone. And it was crazy because this one individual like came up and we're like, well, we're in lockdown right now, by the way, because he was asking about when we gonna get BUSD rewards. I'm like, just so you know, we're in lockdown right now. Lockdown? What do you mean lockdown? And everyone was like, yeah, he's going through the anti-bot protocol. And then I typed in, I was like, well, that's kind of awesome. That means he wasn't even thinking about trying to sell. So then everybody was, it pretty much like everybody really got strong. And as you can see, there's like almost no selling from the chart. So we have rock solid soldiers, warriors that stand in the line for us. And I've never felt so comfortable that I can step away and I know they will defend against the fudders. And they saw my how should I say, my resolve at making sure that everyone was taken care of. And that really kind of like allowed the community to come together,
Yeah, Caden, a lot of people will say similar words as what you just said right now, but then the chart doesn't support what they said. The chart clearly supports what you said, and you're very detailed in sharing your experience with us. You did quite a bit of work on the back end. Would you consider yourself to be a developer?
Well, I did 8 months of development. Thanks to COVID, Princeton allowed you to be able to take a blockchain development course.
Wow.
A year ago, I saw the change. I saw the shift because I came from the stock market world. I saw the shift and I just started looking into blockchain. And I was just like, I wasn't even looking into crypto. I was looking at blockchain, and I was like, transparency, anti-piracy, decentralized voting, the biggest thing, the reclamation of your privacy. People were like, what does that mean? To reclaim your privacy. All this stuff that we're dealing with right now, when we're doing social media, even you and I right now, they have our information.
Mm-hmm.
We can't do anything about it. When we signed up, we signed away our information. They can do whatever they want with it. And
the most exciting conversation we've had is listening to Chris from Infinity with Cade really go off into cyberspace talking about these new designs. So yeah, Cade is our developer. We've had other developers compliment Cade. And I worked with CGI people from the very beginning. They're rocket scientists too. Cade is right up there. We've all been very impressed with what he's done.
The key thing is protection. We want to, like, our thing is to protect, and we do want to be a case study, and we do want to show people, like, all these things of the beautiful, amazing things of the blockchain can be all work cohesively to create something that's amazing. Example, right? If you have a politician who has a political campaign, they should be honestly transparent, public, open, so we can see what they're doing, everything on the blockchain. They buy this. Why shouldn't that be on the blockchain? Why shouldn't that be shown? It will make people more honest, right? But then also at the same time, you can have privacy protection. Why when you go to a bar, you should have to show your ID that shows all your information on it? Shouldn't it just show your birth date and your picture of you, and then that's it, and you should be able to walk into the bar, right? You should be able to do that, right? Well, with the blockchain, scan, boom, information pops up. Okay, birth date, picture, match, go ahead, sir. That's just an example. And we want to pave the way. And how do we pave the way? We have the best vehicle there is, Hollywood.
Absolutely. And Kate, I think that your investors and early contributors probably love the fact that you took some time and actually learned how things work on the back end. I don't think that you can say that about most founders. I interview at least 2 projects a day, and so I'm able to tell when someone is truly passionate about something and is actually put in the work, doesn't just talk about it. Do you have any other developers helping you with this, or is it a full lift on your end?
So I came in and I did have developers. I had like 2 in India, 1 in Japan, and then they started putting it together. And as you know, though I went to, I studied on it and this and that, I'm like, I'm not 100% confident with, Solidity and whatnot and all that kind of stuff, because it's kind of different language, so you have to like kind of learn it. And so they're putting it together, and I'm seeing the building blocks of it coming together. And I like wanted certain things to be done. But the problem with developers, sometimes they're really stuck in like their, I would say, idiot savant way. And I'm like a layman in a way. So when I came in, I'm like, well, why don't we try to take 2 of these things, break it down, and then like put it back together and see what happens? It's like a kid, taking a toy car apart and putting it back together. And then like a couple of things we tried, and they were like, yeah, I don't know how that worked, but it worked. And I'm like, yeah, I know how it worked. And then we put it together, and we pretty much came out with a contract that I thought was pretty good. They're still testing because we want to make sure that everything's proper. So we don't have staking yet. And like the contract is there, it's ready to go, but I need to test it in the mainnet. And you can't test it in the mainnet until you launch it on the mainnet, right? So I gotta.
Kate, have you mentioned the audits? Have you mentioned passing the audits?
Oh yeah, we had like 2. We had 2 audits done, and then so we had 2 pre-audits done, and then another audit, and we had the Intify audit done afterwards. And a lot of people say to me like this: there was one person that really, I don't think he was a fudder. I think he possibly has a true intention by him, but he just came at it the wrong way, and I think he did it 2 days in a row, but I don't know where his mindset is. So, but I have to give him the benefit of doubt. And we're ambassadors, so we need to bring people in the right way. No matter what happens, we have to be the baseline, right? So he said, so can you change the tax? And why was, I'm like, I could change the tax from 0 to 100%. And he goes, wait, then you could like freeze it and like get out and like take all money. He doesn't sound like that. I just pretending. I never talked to him, so I don't know. I was just typing. But the point is that he so what happened was I explained, I'm like, yo, it's about, the project, the way it works is I'm using it for the bot purposes, because we were raised the tax at 50% and we kept dropping the tax down. Now, what that does is that squeezes the bot in, and it forces the bot to have to increase its slippage like from 50%. Even Chris was in there with me, and Chris, like at 37, 38%, he could not, like he like went up to 40 something. I don't think it's still sold. I had to take it down to 35% before he was even to sell at 37%. So it was like kind of stuck until we got down to the 35% sell tax. Now I allowed everyone to buy. The buy was still stayed at 8% the whole entire time, but we said, don't sell, don't sell, don't sell. And you can see a lot of little small test people testing to see that if they could sell at a certain level. So like, I wasn't a scammer or whatever it is, you always should be, doesn't matter who it is, you should always test it. You can't even trust your family. That's just a fact of life. But the point is that, so that's why I had that setting. And I said, like evil, and like the person who's evil or whoever has the power, if they're evil, then they're going to make evil. But if they're good, they're going to use it for the right thing. And even with, for example, right now, Chuck is trying to do something that is simply amazing, in that he's giving opportunity for people to have creativity, or people who don't have the chance to be able to get into something like this, like not shaking the right hand in Hollywood, not allowing to be able to get in. He wants to give a platform to those underserved individuals. And that's the point.
Can I give an anecdote that illustrates that? This is something I've only heard. It's a little bit of a legend, but I believe it's true. And that is that Usher saw Justin Bieber on a YouTube, And that is exactly what I've done in casting. Cameron Diaz is the best example of that, who had a long, wonderful career. We want to see people's work and be in the position to go with our instincts. And it's not just luck or whatever. I've done this plenty. I come from theater originally, and certain people just shine, whether it's a filmmaker or an actor. I want to have some stories for A Nation that comes from our community, where we give people a chance. And it's not charity, gang. We'll make hits with these people, and the audiences respond to people like that better than maybe a star that's done, you know, one too many films in the same genre. So it's great to be free of certain restrictions studios deserve to have, and be able to fly with our community.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And Kate, I had a question regarding what you just mentioned. There seemed to be some confusion. The sell tax cannot be adjusted going forward, correct? Or it can be adjusted?
No, it can't be adjusted. This is the point. I wanted to, so the sell tax buy tax can be adjusted 0 to 100%. Okay, it can be maxed out, it can be dropped all the way down. My principle in that is like the people behind what the project is, those are the people that matter. If Elon Musk right now decides to sell all his shares right now, what would happen with Tesla?
Big red candle.
Yeah, talk about red candle. They'd be in deep doo-doo, right? So the point is this: you get invested into the people behind the project. You either believe in them or not. So you either support what they do, you support their vision, or you don't. If you don't support the vision, go find another project. It's fine, it doesn't fit you. But if you see your vision and you know where we're going and you trust what we do, and I'm hoping the last couple of days, like the people in my Telegram or the group that has been forming, they truly see what I've done, and so far they've been my best loudspeakers in what I've done.
May I just say, I've been, as a producer and executive producer, responsible for many millions of dollars over the years, and this will be run like the best laced up media company I've ever worked with. So when Cade talks about the crypto side, I think it shocks some of us people that are newbies that anything can be adjusted, such as sale tax. He gives that example to show you, I don't know, he loves to let people kick the tires. But I will tell you, now that we're launched, the media company and the token side will both be run with absolute integrity. And I don't want that misinterpreted when he talks about the one exchange he had yesterday on sales tax.
No, here's the thing. This is the reason why I'm leading into that. If the power that the person carries, it depends on the person behind that power. My thought process was always this: when Christmas comes around and you want to gift your family some tokens, you can't gift it because it's 8% tax. Like, who the hell wants to pay 8% tax for a gift? You want to transfer tokens for 14% as a gift? Come on. So the point is that at that period of time, there'll be a moment where I'll be like, guys, you can send out. And another thing, it's very easy to teach anyone how to program via bscscan.com to notify you. If you guys don't know, you guys don't know now, you can actually put your email in and notify you of any transaction going in or going out, or any kind of contract change that occurs on that specific contract. Anyone can do it without putting your name in it. You could just put your email, create a fake email, be anonymous, and as soon as like there's a setting change, you immediately get notified. But the point is, like, the power that I carry now is the power for doing good things. Holiday comes, go ahead, send to your family. We're gonna have a special 2 days where you can send to your family. A situation of like a family in need. Cut the tax, give them tokens, or cut the tax, post some funds, charity, things like that. And that's the point. It's what you do with that power is what matters. Do you trust me or not? And you'll find if you give me time and you give us, not me, us, give us the ability to show you what our plans are and what we want to do with it, then you'll realize this is not something that's small.
The transparency is going to be substantially greater than any Hollywood accounting. That's another reason a number of people are interested in the finance side of the films we'll make. When you're dealing, I love the studios. We're in business with studios. We'll do co-productions with them. But it's true, if their accounting is taking in studio overhead, stages, even the distribution costs, it becomes a lot more complicated. We'll stay lean and mean, and the whole vibe of crypto means we're going to be totally transparent. So,
wait, I want to say this. I want to say this. Anyone that wants to know if a contract can be changed, and I'll tell you right now, most of them can't. Go to the contract. It says contract creator, and then there's the contract. Go to the contract, and the bottom contract says read or write. You tap on write, and you can literally see what you can change.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you right now, almost all of them you can change. Don't let
which
them.
Which is the same as
anything.
any accounting system at any corporation, ultimately.
Exactly.
So it's, that question is kind of moot when you're asking, do you trust this company? Well, do you trust me and my accountants in the real world equally to what you're doing on the blockchain? And the answer is, I've been here for many years. I've got a reputation. We're about to release a film we think is going to do very well. And that's why we're putting our faces on this, is to show our sincerity.
Kate, I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a moment and say, while your community members and investors trust in you and know that you're genuine and you're honest, and we see you right now on camera, we know who you are you the only person that is able to make these tax adjustments, or are your other developers also able to do this? Just you.
That's it. That's
Understood.
it. They literally, I was interacting with them. Type, Telegram, type. Yo, when are we getting the tokens at launch? Yo, I just got it. Oh yeah, no, I just got it too. It's all me, Cade Vu. Like, you can look me up. I'm Docs, KYC, all that stuff. It's really easy. I don't hide, because the point is that I'm honest. Like, end of the day, and I'm beyond transparent when it comes to this. So, with the devil, of course, you got to play that fact of what that is. But I'm the only one. I have. So this is the cool part. I have a tablet that runs it, my Samsung tablet, and it's literally I could say it's my cold wallet, because there's no cellular connection to it whatsoever. It's a Wi-Fi tablet. It's connected to Wi-Fi. I shut off the Wi-Fi as soon as they interact with the wallets or anything like that with the contract. I shut off and I turn off the Wi-Fi. So then it essentially becomes protected from any kind of source of pretty much air gapped. And then I have a specific material that I put it in to ensure that there's no interference or whatnot to be able to mess with it. So that's how, because I know what the value is, and I'm scared to death of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just it.
Understood. And Kate, did you guys do a single raise in the beginning, or did you do a private sale and pre-sale?
So that's the coolest thing.
Mm-hmm.
I did one private sale, and the pre-sale. The pre-sale, the pink sale turned into a pre-sale. The private sale, and I think that's why the chart didn't even move either, because in the private sale, everyone got 20% more. That's it. When people do seed or private sale, they give 5x to the launch price usually, or something like that. So you get people to sell at launch in a dramatic state. So everyone got 20% more. So it's like 1.2. So essentially what happened was they got 1.2 million per BNB, and then going into pink sale, when I shut down pink sale, those who got onto pink sale and bought to pink sale and they got the refund, I gave them 1.1, and then the people who use adapt, I gave them 1.05. Whoever straight airdrop was 1 to 1 BNB. So everything was to million to BNB.
How many private sale contributors were there? How many wallets, and what was the max contribution per wallet?
The max contribution for all wallets was 10 BNB.
10 BNB.
And then 10 BNB, and then I think
what were the soft cap and the hard cap as well, please?
With the soft cap, we didn't even do a soft cap or hard cap, because I didn't use pink sale. So it was like fair, kind of like a fair sale with the pre-sale. It was just people just bought in, and then I just paired it with the liquidity. So then I sent all the private funds into from the exchange that I had on, and then I sent it into the wallet, the creator's wallet, and then I paired it up with at the Pancake Swap.
Got it. And do you know how many between the private sale and pre-sale? Do you know how many wallets contributed?
I would have to look that up.
Sure.
I think it's two total wallets was like 250, 240 something, like 244, 245 wallets total.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And gentlemen, what's the idea behind launching your own chain where you could just use, or as opposed to just going with the chain that's already battle tested? Cade, you're a fan of the parachain model. Why couldn't you just do your own parachain auction on Polkadot, and then once you guys have secured a parachain slot, then you can start to do your own raises using that exact model and not have to build anything from the ground up?
Uh, I wasn't like when I say like building our own blockchain, like we'll use like the system of a main blockchain. I was looking at a couple blockchains. There's a new one called A Left Zero, and it's like trilemmas at another. It's really quick. Like it's, and they prove like their proof of work. I mean, their proof of system, the way it works is really, but I don't know if it's going to be able to. They're going to be able to create. So our key thing is to be able to put it on a system that is, like you said, right, to ensure that everything works correctly and whatnot. So this is the point where that is where we see down the road of what is possible. When it comes time, and I need to pivot to ensure that we're on time, pace, security, all that kind of thing. I always am more on the safe side for investors or holders, not investors, holders, for safety, security, so that they can sleep at night. You know, end of the day, I want everyone to be able to feel comfortable and whatnot and not have fear. So the point is, like, if you think I'm like gonna be like the developer that's running this whole entire thing, like forever, that's not gonna happen. I'm bringing on a team. I don't have a problem with spending money to market, and I have a problem bringing on a team to ensure that everything is running smoothly for everyone that's involved.
Got it. And gentlemen, I've really been enjoying this AMA. This is one of my favorite ones I've ever hosted. And I could keep talking to you guys for another, I could keep talking to you guys for the next 2 hours, but I want to be cognizant of your time. And I think we have a team question, maybe some community questions here. So I believe my fellow host, Glenn, had a question for you all. So Glenn, go for it, sir. And then we can get to the community questions.
Yeah, I had a question for Chuck. I mean, obviously, I'd like to talk about working with Bruce Willis and Jim Carrey. You know, Jim Carrey seems a really cool guy, but we're on the A Nation sort of project. So, yeah, I mean, going back to like the Bond movies in the 60s, they had so many, and then when we got to the 80s, it was Jaws, you know, sequels, and Police Academy was like 5 episodes as well.
Police Academy is underrated. Those are really funny.
Yeah, and now we've come with the late generation for young kids with series on Netflix, Apple, Amazon. I'm wondering if with A Nation, you're looking at doing a series with Netflix, Apple, Amazon.
Absolutely. Streaming series now can have individual episodes with bigger budget than independent films. So it's a golden era for streaming television series. There's a new one with Josh Brolin, who's one of my favorite actors. This, I think, just beginning. I'm not sure which streaming service has it. So that's something we're definitely looking into. We have a particular interest in science fiction, both Cade and I, which I think works well with crypto somehow. And the bigger stories, and Cade and I, we need more and more time to talk about these things, but the bigger stories would be great streaming. So I have a real handle on feature films. I have a real philosophy about bringing in new film directors, but streaming series are definitely something we're considering.
Yeah, I didn't know whether you like old school and the film, genre, which is doing really well. Like young people are just so into the sort of binge series, sort of at the moment. Yeah, so
Thanks for the question. You're breaking up a little.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Glenn. Gentlemen, is there anything that I haven't asked in this AMA that you all would like to talk about or touch on?
We've mentioned community a couple of times. That's really important. We're going to deliver on that. We've mentioned starting with films at a couple different budget levels and a couple of different genres I'm very familiar with, and then expanding into a real media company, including the NFTs. Yes, including streaming series. Absolutely. Honestly, the series do slow us down a little bit because of the nature of doing, 7 episodes of one story. So I want to start with 3 great movies and really get a reputation for the company. And then the thing I'm most attracted to is this relationship between the token holders and the media company. It's a win-win. The token's going to become more valuable every time we present even what we're beginning to make and invite our holders into the process of even one of the most entertaining things I find is as we develop fight scenes specifically with some of the top stunt people in the world. That's something that we will share with our token holders.
Yep.
So I think the symbiotic relationship between the media company, the token holders, and the audiences, the global audiences. I have fans all over the world. We want to spread the good, positive human spirit of our projects globally.
Beautiful.
Hey Noah, sorry to butt in. I know we're kind of low on time and all that, but I would kick myself if I don't appreciate the fact that these guys have come down here to talk to us, sort of in the gutter, boots on the ground strategy. And I think it kind of speaks volume, not to just the degree to which they would go to promote their project, right? But to how far crypto has come, right? To the point where we got superstars coming down to small or large communities and just talking to people and promoting it like really old school. I imagine these guys are no strangers to promoting
grassroots.
Yeah, but really going and doing that, guys. Like I really appreciate you guys, and yeah, I can see a bright future for this. So thank you very much for coming today. It's been awesome to listen to you guys, and yeah.
Thank you. I know we're both here because I'm not that sophisticated in crypto yet, but we don't want people just coming in, jumping out. That's really why I'm here. I'm here to show my commitment. It gives me wonderful freedom with my own films, but with my experience executive producing with others. But we're not just about the token. It's about the token and the media company working together and people holding and staying with us. We will continue to push the value of what you hold through the company. So we don't need people jumping in and saying, well, it's the stock market and this week I'm jumping out. That's why I'm here. That's why it's grassroots. And that's why this room is incredibly valuable to us. We want to spread the word grassroots level.
I couldn't say it better. Chuck nailed it.
I think I learned half of that from you, Kate. But it's why after Kate spent enough time with me, our conversations no longer end. We're on the phone like a couple of kids in high school over how well this is working out.
Yeah, for real. And it's just like the planning, and there's 3 things that we want to ensure people understand. 1, priority number 1, creativity. 2, community. Okay. 3, we're all about the global audience. Look at us. You have him and you have me. The minority of minorities.
By the way, Cade's proof of one of my theories that a real martial artist, and Cade has competed in martial arts and in boxing. No, he doesn't like me talking about this. But I believe it works with his mathematical ability and his dedication and commitment, the discipline that takes. So he's a very unique individual.
Gentlemen,
not talk about it.
No, you don't like talking about it, huh?
No, it's just like I can do crazy stuff for a big dude, but that's about it. That's all. Let's just leave it at that.
That's
Right
way
on.
humble.
Well, hopefully we catch some of that in the new film.
Yes, you will.
Oh yeah, you definitely will.
Yeah.
Well, Chuck, it's been an honor talking to you today. Again, I grew up with The Mask. It was one of my favorite childhood films. I had that on VHS and was watching it repeatedly. I used to pretend like I'm Jim Carrey and run around the house with the mask on. So really honored to meet you.
Show him the mask behind you. Chuck,
Yeah,
show him the mask
show us the
behind you.
mask. There you go. I see. Oh,
That's
there
the real
it
deal,
is.
gang.
There it
When I-
is.
when
Real
I,
deal.
when I had that in my hand before I called cut on the last take because I knew everybody else wanted one. So that's it. You know, we a little bit of history right there.
Yeah, so pumped to be talking to you, and so pumped to hear you guys are trying to bridge the two worlds that I have fallen in love with. You know, film since I was a kid, and in crypto more recently over the last 5 years. Cade, it's a pleasure to talk to a fellow. I grew up in drama. I grew up acting as a kid, so pleasure to talk to a fellow actor, fellow martial artist, and fellow crypto enthusiast. I think you guys make a great team. This has been, again, I'm not just saying this has been the most fun AMA for me since I've started doing AMAs for Whale Coin Talk.
Wow.
Sincerely,
Thank you, Noah.
Appreciate it.
I've
Thank you.
had a great time talking to you both, and hopefully, you know, in the next 6 months to 1 year, your platform's up and running, and you guys can come back and do their follow-up AMA with Whale Coin Talk. I'd be more than happy to host you guys. It's been a pleasure. I couldn't say that more than enough. And I wish you all the best. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you all.